This is Earth. It's not much compared to the rest of our beautiful universe, but it's home to over 7 billion people. Today we're going to be looking at a little town in North Carolina called Wilmington. Wilmington is a coast town with a population of 122,000. It's known for its beach, the university that is located there, and its beautiful downtown river walk. Although this town does have a beautiful shoreline and a few touristy destinations, what we want to focus on today is its 3 biggest forms of pollution. This is Daysha. Daysha is 10 years old and has grown up in Wilmington. Daysha loves her city, and thanks to her city's sustainable mindset, over the years she has learned the value of recycling and skipping the straw. But as she's gotten older, Daysha has been wondering why it's good to do these things. Let's look at the 3 biggest forms of pollution in the city of Wilmington. Litter is the most obvious, as trash is usually very visible to the average bystander. Water pollution is very common in the city of Wilmington, as it has many rivers, water outlets, and of course the ocean. Air pollution is always a growing problem, as harmful chemicals enter the air on a daily basis. Let's take a look at the first of these 3 forms of pollution: physical trash. You might see different forms of trash in your day-to-day on the streets of your neighborhood. Things like
water bottles, like wrappers to candy,
like cans,
potato chip bags,
boxes,
soda cans.
These are all examples of different types of trash we find on the street or in nature. Plastic is a very common form of litter. Plastic objects are usually made with the purpose of being thrown away. Most people don't think about what happens when they throw their trash out. However, many forms of plastic often end up in our planet's habitats. Birds often mistake it for food and feed it to their young. The same thing happens with fish. There are also many different types of chemicals in the plastic that can leach out into the water. Over the past century, mankind has transitioned more into a single-use society, meaning that much of the products we produce are made with the intent of only being used once. This is why we have accumulated more waste at such a rapid pace. Our next form of pollution we are going to be looking at is water pollution. But what exactly is water pollution? Let's take a look at this oil rig. This structure pulls oil from the oil cavities in the seafloor hundreds of miles below the surface. However, sometimes this oil is exposed to the ocean, usually through a break in the pipe. This causes an oil spill, which can be harmful to sea creatures and other animals who call the ocean home. Even the fumes that come from oil spills can be harmful to those who are on land. These fumes can be harmful to people's lungs and cause them to become sick. Other forms of water pollution include runoff. Runoff is chemicals, sewage, or animal feces that are collected by rainwater and washed into local streams and water basins. When sewage enters the water, the bacteria from the sewage suck up all the oxygen in that water, creating what is called a dead zone. These dead zones make it impossible for life to thrive and create pockets of unhealthy and unsanitary water. Finally, Gen X is another very common form of water pollution in the Wilmington area. Gen X is a chemical that is dumped into the river by manufacturing companies. The chemical structure of Gen X is very strong and toxic, meaning that it doesn't break down easily inside of an organism's body. When consumed regularly, it can accumulate over time, so the more affected water we drink, the more Gen X we take in. This is a great example of why clean water is so important to our communities and is something we should prioritize. Our last form of pollution is air pollution. There are many different forms of air pollution that affect our atmosphere and breathing air. But before we get started, we need to talk about greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases in our atmosphere cause a greenhouse effect, in which they trap the heat of the sun in the Earth's atmosphere, making it a very comfortable place to live. The most common greenhouse gases in our atmosphere include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone. Now, in the correct amounts, these greenhouse gases can be a good thing. However, human activity over the span of the last 100 years has messed with the levels of the greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. This has led to what is known as global warming. Take ozone, for example. Ozone is not breathable, and is usually released from cars. Ozone is important in the stratosphere because it blocks harmful UV rays coming from the sun, which can burn our skin. However, recently, the ozone layer has been deteriorating. This has led to increased heat in areas such as Antarctica, causing large sheets of ice to melt and our oceans to rise. This decrease in the amount of ozone in our atmosphere is a prime example of human effect on our planet. So what can we do to help our planet? That's a very big question for someone like Daesha. But don't worry, there's actually a lot that you can accomplish in your life to help decrease pollution in your community. It starts with the small things, like recycling soda cans. You can ask yourself, what are things in your life that you can give up to help decrease the amount of trash going to the landfill? Plastic straws aren't always necessary to use. You can bring your own reusable bags to the grocery store instead of using the plastic ones they provide. To combat air pollution, you can try to use public transportation instead of driving your own car. Or you can carpool with friends to your destination. Maybe even bike there if it's close enough. Other ways you can decrease pollution include educating your family and friends on pollution and ways they can help, putting up signs in your local areas, buying clothing from thrift or consignment stores rather than brand new, and organizing cleanups in your community. So although pollution may feel like a huge problem that we can't solve, the real change starts with you and how you choose to live your life. By making purposeful decisions to live an environmentally conscious lifestyle, you can help our planet stay happy and healthy.